really want to watch it as soon as possible. But so yeah, the winner of this will play Complexity. The loser will play Q Squad 357. And as we saw earlier today, Q Squad 357 is by no means a team that you can just expect to get a free win against. I mean, they gave Complexity a run for their money, especially in game number 2.
Yeah, they definitely did, and I think they performed a little bit better the second game than the first. But yeah, they definitely showed some signs of a strong team. They have good strategy for the most part. Still a few things I disagree with, and I mentioned that during the cast. But yeah, like you said, they're not a team that you can just get a free win and walk over. But without further ado, the game has actually begun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
I am too. I'm really, really excited for this matchup. Hopefully you guys are at home because Game 1 is upon us. Let's get into it. We got VtrL on the Legion side, TTE Sports on the Hellborn side here in Game 1 of course, a best out of 3. This is the winners bracket. Well, this is actually technically the quarterfinals here. Not winners or losers. We're just starting here with the quarterfinals. Yeah, I cannot believe we're finally at this stage. And the fact that it just so worked out that we got to cast 3 of the 4 quarterfinal matches due to scheduling. I mean, that was pretty damn cool, but it's going to be every single day. We're going every single day all the way to the eventual champion is found out. So this game has started, though, as you can see, and so far we got Legion team, that's VtrL over there. They take care of blind banning Ophelia and Jerizaiah. TTE Sports, they go Tundra, and there's the War Beast. So we're not going to see the War Beast this game.
Yeah, we're not going to see the War Beast. The Ophelia band coming out from Legion, that's one thing I think is... It's kind of, I feel like it's a little bit better to just first pick Ophelia. One fun strategy that I like to do is actually ban Glacius if you're first pick, and then hope that they don't blind ban Ophelia, because if you first pick Ophelia out of either the lock pool or just regular picking phase, and that Glacius is banned, Ophelia just shines, because Glacius is pretty much the hardest counter to Ophelia. But yeah, Ophelia banned out, and so is Jerizaiah, no question there. Tundra coming out from Hellborn, that's no question there. They are second pick. And now the locks, just go through those quickly. Pebbles there. That leads me to believe that VtrL is going to play Pebbles. They're not a team that I normally see pick Pebbles, actually, so I'm kind of curious of that.
Yeah.
Revenant and Aluna coming out from Slicks. Glacius Shadow Blade, there's that Bryze Blade, or now Emperor Blade that we might see. And then finally a lock with Torturer coming out from Slicks. Very versatile lock, and can play many different roles, second support. Can't really play Suicide, but he can play support or carry / solo kind of hero.
Yeah.
So he's a bit versatile.
Man, you're right, though. I mean, Shadow Blade, normally for most teams that would be more of a trollish style of lock, but as Bryce showed in that very final match that we casted, I think it was against Quap, he actually did very well in the hero, and that was definitely a lot of fun to watch. So nothing against Quap, though. This is TTE Sports. You can safely say a step up as far as the team goes. So we'll see, though, if Bryce is confident enough. And, you know, honestly, he probably is. He probably is that he can still make it work, even against a team like TTE Sports. But Revenant, also another interesting lock, actually. Locked there by TTE Sports instead. And, you know, I've always seen Revenant as a hero that could be played really as a pure support or even almost a semi-carry solo role. And he can actually do pretty well in that role, as we have seen in the past. So interested to see if he comes about, but so far the banning phase, we got Wild Soul to start things off, and then Armadon to follow suit here. So, again, we'll see how it plays out overall. VtrL and TTE Sports, both teams are using their A lineup. No ringers needed, at least in game number 1 here, so that's also another good sign and always good to see. Of course, TTE Sports, the Australians, waking up bright and early, as usual, to play some HoN, so props to them.
Yeah, first ban, Wild Soul coming out from Mikey's. I talked with Emperor about this quite a lot, and TTE Sports specifically really likes to run Wild Soul. White actually plays him quite often. And I think they've evolved their play from a jungle Wild Soul to a laning Wild Soul, which in my opinion at the competitive level is much more effective. So they went ahead and banned him. Some of the other bans coming out, Armadon and Magebane. Or I should say Armadon and Cthulhuphant coming out from TTE Sports, and then Magebane, both Magebane and Dark Lady coming out from VtrL. Miraxis finally banned there by Slicks as the final ban here in this phase. Other junglers to note are Tempest and Parasite are both there. Also, Silhouette is kind of, well, as well as Draconis, or the strongest carries there, in my opinion, are still available. But one thing I wanted to mention is Fade banned. I don't think, I always have trouble finding
It's just top right.
Top right, yeah. Fade is not banned. That's a hero that I think has gained a lot of popularity, and I would not be surprised to see TTE Sports specifically pick him up. But Plague Rider, picked up by VtrL, that's a hero, again, that I really want to talk about, and I think it's very, very strong. And I'll get more to that as we get into the game and see what Plague actually, how he's used, but I really like that pick.
Well, real quickly, I do want to give a shout-out to DreamHoN Party before we get too much into this match. Again, DreamHoN Party every single day on HonCast, and especially in the quarterfinals, going to be a lot of fun, guys. Go to channel DreamHoN Space Party in Games. Xander K, the S2 Games Community Manager, he's leading the way with that, and you have a chance to win some gold coins and everything, answering some questions, and just talking about the match here on HonCast with fellow HonCast viewers. So shout-out to everyone in that channel over there. So anyways, as far as this game continues, though, you talked about that Plague Rider first pick, Tempest Valkyrie, the follow-ups here for TT Sports. Valkyrie especially for TT Sports. I mean, that is such a signature hero for them. Leon Black, WTF, and even Slicks are known to play it very, very effectively. So we'll see who ends up getting it. But the thing with Plague Rider, yeah, a strong hero. I'm curious, what you wanted to say about him, because first pick material, I mean, I don't know, do you consider him to be a strong first pick here?
Yeah, okay, there's the Tempest Valkyrie is very interesting, especially the Valkyrie. I just want to touch on that for a second. I don't really... I'm beginning to believe more and more that the nerf of the arrow really did hurt that hero, because it makes it so much more difficult to find a good laning partner with Valkyrie. And Valkyrie's not exactly the best solo in the world either. But, yeah, back to the Plague Rider. The reason why I love Plague Rider is... now, a lot of people will do these kind of suicide Tempests or suicide heroes with Plague Rider. And the smart thing to do when you know you're going up against a suicide hero like Plague Rider or Tempest or Bubbles or whatever is to send one hero up there. Yeah. One hero that can completely dominate them. Something like a Silhouette or a Luna or something of that, or even a Disham. Something that will just destroy that hero. Well, if they do that, if it happens to be, say, a Tempest, then you're going to crush them. But what if it's a Plague? Plague Rider actually does really, really well in 1v1 matchups as well. So she works well in a 1v1 matchup as well as a 1v2 or 1v3 matchup. So that's why I really like the Plague Rider. Also, I think Plague Rider is very, very strong in that solo suicide rather than a dual lane kind of long lane, because I think Plague Rider really benefits from those levels.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Of course, getting that Plague U as high as level 6 as soon as possible, and then eventually, as we talked about even the last game we covered, getting to level 11 and the level 16 to really reduce the cooldown on the ultimate, making it for basically every single team fight you can use it. Now, we got the final regular pick here from TT Esports, but look at that strong follow-up from VtrL, Nymphora and Empath. Now, I look at this lock pool, and I'm assuming we're going to see a Pebbles and then eventually a Shadow Blade with the final pick, actually. And we saw the power of not only Shadow Blade, but with Empath. The last game that we did see Shadow Blade with VtrL. So, and then, of course, you got the Pebbles Nymphora combination, and then, obviously, a Plague Rider could be in that solo role. So I definitely think that's very likely could be the possibility to finish here. Bubbles is going to be the final regular pick for TT Esports, on the other hand. So we'll see how they go. But I'm honestly expecting a snap pick Pebbles here.
Yeah.
VtrL, and sure enough, there you go.
Now, here's the thing, is I actually think TT Esports needs to pick up Shadow Blade. I really do. They have an extremely squishy lineup right now if you look at it. And if it basically is an all-in strategy, okay? They do have very, very strong lanes. And yeah, the Shadow pick there, snap pick right there. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. This is very, very early on aggression from TT Esports. They should be doing very well in their lanes with all that range. Look at every single hero is actually ranged. They have no melee carry or no melee heroes. Of course, Tempest is more the jungle type, and I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see that suicide Bubbles, and you can really do good things with that. I mean, Pebbles should get free farm if they decide to throw him bottom. We'll see how they do the lanes, but I actually really, really like VtrL's lineup.
Yeah. Now, there was some last-second swapping there from TT Esports. That got really close, actually. But the last second, 3 different players switched some heroes up. But Slicks is going to be playing the Torturer. Waitalaba, of course, on Tempest, as you would almost expect. And then Leon Black actually going to play Luna. But I believe a Luna is going to be more of the support role this game. Of course, Slick's going to be more of the farming hero. Then you got WTF on Valkyrie, again, a signature hero for him especially. Definitely a big reason why he just became so popular on the competitive scene. I still remember that at DreamHack, last DreamHack winner, actually, where he was playing for Frey at the time and just absolutely destroyed, especially as Valkyrie. So, signature hero of his. You do got Bubbles currently going to the bottom lane. Did he buy boots first? I think he did, and then he sold them real quickly. This is something we see from time to time. Of course, Riser trying to get down there. Now he's going to run right past a Courier, and you see the Legion team. Of course, they know what's up. They know that he's going to try to ninja in here. The Ninja Bubbles. Oh, this isn't Ninja Bubbles. This is Captain America Bubbles, actually, doing it for the USA, and he gets the water sight down. And he should be able to get away before pressure comes out. And, yes, he will be fine. So, Riser able to sneak on in there and get the ward down.
And at the same time, Plague Rider was able to do the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dark Wanix bought boots very early, sold them right about at the second-tier tower there, maybe a little bit before. Got that ward down as well. And so no aggression coming out from blocking these pulls. And I think that's going to hurt I think that's going to hurt actually TT Esports a little bit more because you have the deny coming out from Plague Rider. At the same time, though, Hellborn has an advantage here because of that hard camp pull, whereas Legion does not. They cannot pull another. They have no more camps available. It's only that camp, whereas Hellborn can actually still benefit from that hard camp pull. And it's actually quite easy to do so against a deny. So, now that I think about it, it kind of benefits TT Esports a little bit more. Yeah. But we are going to see a Bubbles, actually, who has no items yet. He still needs to buy them from the courier. Maybe he's just going to buy boots down here when he gets down here. But I actually really, I knew that VtrL was going to do this. I wish they would have thrown the Pebbles in for a bottom. Now, while it is good to have that against Torturer, Pebbles could be contested with some farm when this Luna does decide, and I'm pretty sure she will decide to go mid. So,
yeah, I was going to say, there's no reason for a Luna to sit up here, especially, you know, Valkyrie in the short lane. Granted, it is going to Stark Wanix on Plague Rider, and as you said, with that first pick Plague Rider, you know, the power of Plague Rider, especially in a 1v1, even in that long lane, still, you really, sending a Luna to the middle lane could definitely help a big time here for TT Esports, and obviously, as powerful as Pebbles and Amphora is, going up against a double range and Torturer Luna, it could be just as dangerous for them to go up against that. So that could definitely turn out to be interesting. And of course, White Talabot, he is going to be in the Hellborn jungle, you would think, as he denied the bottom creep, I believe it was, and now he's headed into that jungle currently. So yeah, going to be a strong start here for TT Esports. We'll see those Zaxarok on Pebbles, how much of a start he's able to get off to. And then, of course, there's Emperor this game, also known as Brized. Here on Shadowblade, what kind of start he gets off to, and you'd expect he's going to have some free farm for the most part down here at the bottom lane. And, you know, once again, really intrigued to see how he builds. Now, against Quap, he did build into a Rune Cleaver.
Yeah.
Now, again, whether or not that was more because they were more confident against them. So you've stated, though, he likes to build very, very tanky on Shadowblades usually, so I'm curious to see how he decides to go this time around as far as his build and for the usefulness of course, Vitriolic. So,
yeah, I don't think he will wait. Whoops, Trough, please be gentle. What did he do?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
he didn't buy items. maybe that's.
I mean, I talked about that. I was like, well, maybe he'll buy boots once he gets to the side shop. I already talked.
Yeah.
But I think now he's confirming the fact that it was a screw up. Oh, Riser. It's kind of funny.
It is a 6-minute delay. Maybe I know you made a joke about him earlier, too, so maybe he just heard that. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. If that is the case, then he is a super nerd. Because that means he's listening.
He's watching the stream, man.
Playing.
You made the point. He's watching the stream.
Yeah.
Exactly. Why would he not be watching this one? Boy.
But, no, yeah, one thing I didn't want to mention is that if a Luna does decide to help out this Torturer, which I think he really has to. I mean, Niv Pebbles, if they get these fast levels early on against the Torturer being solo, Torturer got a actually good aggression already coming out from Azzy. There's that pro, and even the stun coming out. So Slicks is going to have to use his health potion quite early, I think. Yeah, there he already pops it. And actually already a Luna walking here. Now, see, this is the beauty of Plague Rider top. Is Plague Rider should actually win this lane. He really should. So, you know, it is WTF on a signature heal, but Plague Rider excels in 1v1 matchups.
Oh, Nymphora nearly lives right there. What a turnaround from Slicks actually coming out. And Leon Black was heading on over, so obviously that was set up by Slicks, realizing that Leon Black was going to get there just in time. Landed the power throw. One more auto attack would have done it, but Nymphora, being played by Azzy here, a.k.a. Z-Pro, was able to barely get away with his life. So that was very, very close, and boy, would have that been really big in favor of TT Esports if they were able to turn that around. But Aluna has made the final adjustment here, coming to the middle lane. So yeah, despite that early aggression from Vitriolic, TT Esports, the quick adjustment, and they are right back in it as far as this 2 versus 2 mid lane goes now.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about this composition here with Vitriolic is this bottom lane. Now, while it is good against the Bubbles, they can't really kill him. Like, this is not a kill lane. They don't have reliable stuns here. The only kind of stun they have is from Mikey's with that, if he goes out of range from the Essence Link. But that's early on, right? Actually, you just saw it right there. It didn't really even do anything. It's a 1-second stun. It's hardly anything. And so Bubbles is actually going to excel and do quite well here in the bottom lane, despite him not buying items early on. He did actually get some delivered. But, yeah, if they had... That's why I wish they would have swapped this and had the Pebbles and Nymph4 bottom, because if they did, Bubbles would get literally nothing.
Yeah.
She will die in a combo, whereas here, she won't die. Bubbles is going to be able to do just fine.
Yeah, very true. So, and of course, Bubbles, who is playing Bubbles? That is Riser, as we talked about earlier, and so We'll keep an eye on that to see how both his levels and his farm ultimately goes, but really the levels of staying alive is, of course, the big thing there for Bubbles. Shadowblade, on the other hand, he's so far a QW with the Gargantuan Blast and the Faint Siphon here, so again, really intrigued to see how he decides to build this game, the early Iron Shield, but we'll keep an eye on where he goes from there. And then, of course, there's the top lane as Bubbles does take actually a bit of pressure right there from Empath, using that Essence Lick once again, and even the wall right there. But Bubbles able to show stuff away and be fine in the end. But yeah, Dark One, so you said Plague Rider should actually win this lane up here. I mean, we got a 6-7 Plague Rider versus an 8-1 Valkyrie so far. So obviously a lot of denies happening for Plague Rider as you would expect. And it seems like the lane control is going fairly well here for Plague Rider as well.
Yeah, well, it's also, whenever you kind of look at creep scores, you have to keep in mind that of which wave, like, is connecting with the other wave. So, like, sometimes when you deny really hard, for example, and you deny really, really hard in one lane, you'll have one set of heroes be, like, level 3, or if it's a solo, be level 3, and the other one will be level 1. But that's simply because the other wave has not come back to you yet. So, the Plague Rider, I imagine, is going to start really owning this Valkyrie. He does have level 2 deny. Yes, he does extinguish. And is going to be able to put out a lot of harass here. He's going to buy boots here, I would assume. Yeah, boots there before the Ring of the Teacher completed. And it's just going to have lots of lane control. And yeah, I really like the Plague Rider pickup. I think it's going to shine here.
Yeah, again, that was the first pick, remember, from VtrL. And Dark One so far is playing it very, very well here at the top lane. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, you see Bubbles falling all the way back to base. He does port back in now, trying to get some experience as the lane is pushed up quite a bit. But Shadowblade early boots, and in fact, they're going to charge right here, of course. There we go, though. The port away from Bubbles with the Shell Surf. That's what we talked about. I mean, really, realistically, there's not a whole lot of kill opportunity here between Shadowblade and Empath. I mean, sure, they can apply a good amount of burst damage and get him low, but you know, actually killing him, if Riser just plays it well enough with porting out, then he should be fine. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Slick's taking a lot of damage, but not nearly enough. And actually, Pebble's in a lot of trouble turnaround damage. He will be fine in the end using those bottle charges, but that was actually, Torture was able to tank that pretty effectively. I don't know if that was because the Stalagmites wasn't necessarily the greatest placement or something, but he actually didn't drop that fast in the combo right there, it seemed like.
Yeah, I caught the tail end of it as well. Maybe just the combo wasn't completely effective or wasn't pulled off to its entirety. But, I mean, if you look at the CS score, he has had 20 CS, Torture a little less, but, I mean, this team matchup is going to favor the Legion team in the end. I mean, this Hellborn team is a very, very squishy. Now, the good thing they have going for them is TteS is basically getting uncontested free farm in the jungle, and that's very strong. Actually, he is going to set up a gank here onto Plague, but Plague is very fast. He might actually still get away from this. The arrow coming out, it misses, actually. So unfortunate there for WTF. I feel like that would have actually been a very, very free kill had he hit the arrow.
It also seemed like Whitelabo was a little bit slow. Again, it's hard to tell because of how we can see everything, and they are obviously, you know, fade to black and everything, but it seemed like he was right on top of Plague Rider here off to the side of the jungle. I'm guessing they just barely couldn't see him because Plague Rider started running back into the lane, and then he finally decided to go on to. If we went just a little bit earlier, it seems like they could have had that kill. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, though, big dive here from TteS Sports. Not going to pay off, though, and Aluda gets turned on as Empath joins the party. Now, Torturer should be fine in the end, but what response there from VtrL. That was just perfect timing, really, from Empath to come in after the dive attempt from TteS Sports.
Yeah, I unfortunately wasn't able to catch that, but yeah, you were talking about the top lane. I just think that actually, I don't know. I don't think that Whitelabo played that incorrectly. I think that was more WTF. What I've normally seen from him actually is he plays a very aggressive Valkyrie and really makes sure that he connects those arrows. I've seen him before actually leap to get perfect position to get that arrow off, because he knows how important that combo is, to be able to, you know, someone stuns for you, then you get the arrow off. And even then, I actually don't even think the arrow was, now that I think about it, necessary, because he has 3 levels in Call of the Valkyrie. So I feel like even if he just leapt in, used that Call of the Valkyrie, and got that double call on it, the extra damage, to that Plague Rider by standing right next to him, they would have just killed him simply with that. So either way, I think that was a big misplay by WTF.
Now, there was also a small play that happened while you were mentioning that there at the top rune. It was actually ninja'd by TteS right before Pebbles got to it to bottle up. And again, it's these small things that will add up, because now Pebbles, not only does he not have a haste rune, which obviously would be very powerful for him, he doesn't have any bottle charges currently. And despite being full mana and full life, no bottle charges, won't be able to regen, of course, and you do see some harassment coming out. Now, Empath is still nearby, so clearly Vitriolic is trying to bait something out right here. I don't know if TT Esports is fully aware. Obviously, they know Empath is missing as she hasn't been to the bottom lane for a while. Top lane of the arrow once again missing. The ultimate going to use by TteS, though. Plague Rider is going to survive. No, he's not in the end. But yeah, WTF. This is not typical WTF.
Yeah.
2 arrows now missed by him. He is 0 for 2. Oh, man, that is brutal. But hey, they got the kill. That's what matters in the end. So well played there at the top lane, at least in that sense.
They did, and that was actually a very scary hole. I actually thought it was going to miss because he is so slow, and Plague Rider with those boots is very, very fast. And I would have rather had seen him actually stun and then ulti immediately after. I know what his idea, or his thinking was, I have to actually get him in an ult before he ultis, because if Plague Rider gets a good bounce, it's going to destroy us even while I'm chilling my ulti.
Yeah.
So it was a good idea, but I think he actually almost missed that ult, and it was very, very, very scary. But yeah, that arrow was almost comical. He wasn't even necessary. He could have just ran up again and used that call in the Valkyrie.
Middle lane, though, we have a lot of pressure happening. Bubbles will get that kill right there on a Pebbles. You see Torch in the front lines, and Impalement was activated, going to the front lines. There goes the chain reactions. Nice kill from Zepro, but not going to be enough damage to save himself. And we see the final auto attack go out, and Slick's actually getting credit for the kill right there. So now that was an interesting sequence that happened. Now, Luna played aggressive. She went for a kill on a Pebbles because of that Empath with the wall out, and they were actually turning around into her. But all of a sudden, Bubbles ports in, and that's what Bubbles does. He's had a good enough job at this bottom lane to at least hit level 6 in time. He ported in and got the kill field. Oh, no, he didn't even kill field. Wow, he didn't even actually kill field. He just shell surfed and did the damage necessary to obviously turn that around. So very good timing right there, and well played. So yeah, Riser on Bubbles. He is actually doing a very good job at this bottom lane considering the circumstances.
Yeah, he is. He's doing a very good job. But the thing is that it really goes back to why did they put the not the kill lane bottom? Why did they put that mid? You can always expect some sort type of support to come into the mid hero, but it's not like a Luna, or say they put this Pebbles Nymph4 lane bottom, and Bubbles is like, guys, I can't get any farm, a Luna, come down here and support. Like, they're not going to do that. It's a suicide hero for a reason. But in this case, if it was Pebbles Nymph4, he wouldn't get anything, and Pebbles would get complete free farm. So it's a better trade-off, in my opinion. Especially, I mean, I know Bryce plays a great Shadowblade, and we've seen what he's capable of on that hero. But I don't think it's the hero that necessarily needs all of that free farm. I think it'd be better suited for a Pebbles.
Yeah. Yeah, especially, I mean, that keeps going back to the squishy team here on the Hellborn side. I mean, could you imagine this Pebbles? He the one getting the free farm, and as a result, getting the early Steam boots into a portal key with an M4 reporting him around. I mean, yeah, there are definitely several arguments that can be made as to why that combination down here at the bottom lane would have just made more sense. But, you know, again, hindsight's 2020. In the end, we are now coming up to 10 minutes into the game, and here we are with currently a 3-1 hero kill advantage in favor of TT Esports. Currently about a 2,000 experience lead as well as a 1,600 gold lead. So across the board, looking pretty solid for them. Tempest being played by Talba. He's actually leading the way in the GPM chart. Currently 295 gold per minute. He's got the Ring of Sorcery, got the boots. We'll see if he upgrades those first or where else he goes from there. But bottom rune going to be picked up by a Luna right there. You saw Empath hanging out nearby, but she wasn't going to dive it, not having the support near. So good job, though, by the Hellborn team, once again doing some rune control. And I don't know if Pebbles has actually gotten okay, he does have a regen rune bottled up, so he has at least one. But it seems like the rune control has actually been pretty solid here for TT Esports so far.
Yeah, I haven't been able to see all that much. They're doing a good job warding. They have wards on both runes, actually. Well, actually, the one in the mid does not show the top rune. I'm actually curious as to what this ward is all about, because I don't even think it shows any. It doesn't show any ports coming out from the mid tower.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's just one of those cases of placing a ward so that it doesn't get countered, but it doesn't really seem like the most effective ward. Maybe it shows possible Nymph4 ganks, because Nymph4 is almost level 6. I'm not quite sure. Actually, Pebble's getting gone on here, almost dies, gets very low. Bubble's going to try to get the snipe. He almost cancels that regen. That would have been huge. But Pebbles is going to bottle up that regen and will be fine now with full mana and life. And yeah, again, I look at the Shadowblade, and he is getting a very good farm. He's got 50 CS. You compare that, though, Tempest is now 61. Again, Tempest just free farms so quickly in the jungle there. Yeah. And Valkyrie not having the greatest time, actually, in the top lane, and got to attribute that to just the success of Plague.
Oh, speaking of Plague, right at the top lane, the back hole going to come out right there. Tempest will cancel it, though, immediately as Shadowblade actually jumps in. A lot of ports came in, so that's why he canceled it. The Stalagmite's going to miss Valkyrie, though. Valkyrie still has relief, so she's by all means fine. So, in the end, Plague Order falls in. No one else going to die right there. You definitely, I completely understand the idea by Vital, but that was also risky at the same time because of all the ports that came in, not just the one or two that were there. So that was actually a good choice by my belief. He did cancel it even a little bit early and was able to get away before death on his side. So just good kill once again on a Plague Rider. And Valkyrie up here now 2-0-0. She is farming about 251 gold per minute. Again, not the most effective creep farm by any means, but she's going up against a Plague Rider who has 26 denies already. So that kind of makes sense. But at least with the 2 hero kills, looking pretty nice there. So something else I wanted to bring up, though, again, about the Shadow Blade. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but also another big part of why the Shadow Blade strategy worked pretty effectively last time they ran it against QoP in the group stages, they had a Hammer Storm for him to constantly use his ultimate on, who was actually building. Now, I guess with the Pebbles, see, the thing was the Hammer Storm, he builds into a Shrunken Head, he gets more strength from that, and then, depending on where he goes, I guess the Pebbles may be somewhat similar in a sense as far as his strength gain and as far as the amount of strength total, but I don't know. I guess I wonder if that's going to play a role here as far as this game goes. Again, if he decides to build tanky, which is like what he usually builds. So
yeah, I think regardless, though, it's just the problem is that they did not put the importance on getting Pebbles farm this game. They put it more on the Shadow Blade, and I really disagree with that. I mean, I think Pebbles, especially when you can actually get him in a game, I mean, he gets banned so frequently. And then on top of that, get a Nymph Forward coupled with him. Just give that guy farm, and you're going to get a free win, honestly. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. So I definitely would have rather seen that Pebbles in that bottom lane. Right now he's struggling. He does have Steam Boots, but he's quite far away from his portal key. The stun comes out on a Torture. A response you could expect is coming out from the Hellborn team.
And now we see right here, look at that turnout. Great chain reactions happening right there. Nymph is still somehow alive, barely going to fall. Plague Rider goes down, could not get the Plague off. That would have been absolutely huge right there if he was able to. Empath is now also falling. She'll get Power Throat sniped. And Slick stays alive while that's happening. The top lane being aggressively pushed in here by Tempest and Valkyrie. And this tower is easily going to fall in favor of TT Esports. So talk about a complete swing of momentum right here in favor of the Hellborn team. All of a sudden, a 6,700 gold lead and a 7,000 experience lead. Man, the Plague was in the animation of being casted, but Plague was just barely not able to get it off. That could have at least been 1, if not 2 kills if he was able to.
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. I mean, this early game team is really going to start snowballing even more early game. And Bubbles actually had an Invis rune, but Bryce is a little bit too tanky to take out. So, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like very common sense to me to throw that Pebbles in the easiest lane possible. And on top of that, throw him in a lane that could actually get kills on the Bubbles. I mean, that lane, Empath Shadowblade, yes, it is strong late game, but you're not going to get kills on the Bubbles. And actually, Nymph tries to use that ultimate onto Valkyrie, but Valkyrie's just going to be fine. Bryce actually jumping in on him. Blue is there. Empath is there. Can the wall come out? The wall does come out. The leap is down. They might get a kill, but some turn potential is here. We'll see what happens. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, we got there we go with the leap right there, and there's a Gargantuan's Blast to finish her off. So in the end, actually a successful gank happens. Granted, it took them a lot of chase time to get the kill, but hey, they got the kill. That's what matters. Obviously, Shadow Blade with some great assistance right there. Great wall from Empath, by the way, in the main. That completely blocked off Valkyrie and left her only option to run down, and of course, we saw the end result because of that. So yeah, just a very good setup, and it's a kind of, you would almost assume it would be Nymph porting Pebbles right off the bat, but no, she ports a Shadow Blade because of the positioning, and actually, again, it worked out pretty well there in the end. It was initially a good escape attempt, I will say, by WTF. He definitely knew something was up. He actually ran down the river instead of just straight up, which is where they ported to, but again, still not enough to survive in the end. But Shadow Blade, he is farming 291 gold per minute. Again, pretty solid farm. He has 1,600 gold saved up, actually. So we'll see what he goes for. Like I said, he did go that Rune Cleaver the last game we casted. Will he do that again this time around? I mean, he's getting close to a sustainer, so that'll give us information here if, sure enough, that's what he chooses to go for. But at the bottom lane, TT Esports, they are all grouping up. And they're definitely going to make some type of push. Oh, Legion's side, though, they are ready to jump. You got Pebbles, no portal key just yet. But positioning being set up, definitely. We see Empath taking a lot of damage in the meantime. Kelfa going to come out. Down goes Empath right off the bat. Couldn't even use her ultimate, not even level 6, so that makes sense. And for 5-second arrow on a Plague Rider. And Plague Rider will not once again be able to get the Plague go off. Shadowblade doing whatever he can to be the beefy hero that he is. But no, he's going to get pulled in. And Shadowblade will fall as well. That's going to be a genocide for TT Esports. Wow, that just turned so quickly again.
God, that was just so unfortunate. I mean, it's funny because I actually thought that the way that Leon Black placed that power throw in the beginning on that Empath, they had a ward there, but they actually have no vision down here. Maybe it was just a blind power throw. I don't know. It was very odd seeing how they don't have a ward there. But that set it up. Bubbles came in with a good initiation, and then, like you said, the 5-second arrow on the Plague was huge. That just sealed the deal. There was nothing that they were going to do after that point.
Yeah, and again, Empath not level 6, so not able to jump in anyone with... that's what makes that ability so great. Not only does it amplify the person you jump into, but it's a great saving tool for yourself. And if she was level 6 right there, very likely could have stayed alive and maybe done something different there. But yeah, the 5-second round of Plague Rot, as he said, that really did seal the deal. I mean, not being able yet again to get off the Plague U in a couple of instances now has just been huge here in favor of TTE Sports. And all of a sudden they have a 12-2 hero kill advantage. We're only 17 and a half minutes in, and we already have a 12,000 plus goal lead, 11,000 plus experience lead. I mean, man, I expected a great series and everything, and obviously a very entertaining play so far for TTE Sports, but don't know if I can say I expected it to be this one-sided by any means. I mean, this is just ridiculous how in favor it is right now by TTE Sports, but you can definitely credit it to their lineup at the same time. I mean, they definitely picked a very aggressive lineup, albeit squishy, but hey, it's working out early on, and as long as it accomplishes that, you know, it's it definitely will pay off for you. So that is the good news here for TTE Sports. If you're vitriolic, though, you know, they're going to keep it going. Oh, a 5-second arrow actually on a Pebbles in the middle lane, but a hasted Valkyrie. Not going to follow it up, but Pebbles need to be a little bit careful right there. Now, if they can get Pebbles that portal key here in the near future, which he has about 1,200 gold saved up, so, you know, maybe in the next 2 to 3 minutes, depending on his farming situation. If they can get that, they do have an Amphora. You know, maybe something can happen here against this Hellborn team, but they're in a pretty deep hole now.
Yeah, I mean, they really are. Trying to look for signs of life. I mean, they do have somewhat good team fight with the Plague Rider, with the Pebbles being able to pick off someone immediately. But Heroes are starting to get, I mean, they are a squishy team in nature, but because of this lead, they're starting to get quite tanky. I mean, Torture does have a finished Astrolabe as well as Vestments, a Steam Boot, and then a Power Supply, so she's quite tanky. And then on top of that, just bought a Blessed Orb. So Torture is not dying in the combo, but Blessed Orb sold the Blessed Orb, buys a Portal Key instead. So it's kind of juking me right there. And then TteS, you know, has his Portal Key, get some solo ults here, but it's not mattering at all because the team just keeps destroying the other team before TteS is able to really do anything. Bubbles also has his Portal Key, and then Nullstone very, very shortly to be picked up here by Valkyrie. These are all things are looking so good for TTE Sports, and I really don't know how VtrL can get back into this game. They're going to have to get some pickups. They're good. I mean, Pebbles does have his Portal Key very, very early, and Nymph is definitely past level 6. She's level 8 now. So hopefully they can get some picks off. They can still pick off Valkyrie. They can still pick off Valkyrie. Actually, they can still pick off probably lots of heroes on this team.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think that's the route they need to go.
Well, we do see a couple of big item pickups. As you mentioned, the Portal Key on Pebbles, just getting that. And then Shadowblade. He actually just finished his Ice Brand, I believe. If I saw that correctly, and yes, it looks like that's what's being built on the courier. Oh, Nymphora was porting, but Pebbles ran away. Nymphora is now all alone over here. We see them jump on Empath, actually. Oh my gosh, this is horrible for Vitriolic. The Plague is going to go off, but there's so many minions here. It bounces back to them, does minimal damage. It just seems like Vitriolic's completely panicking right now as far as what to do. Pebbles gets picked off. Shadowblade jumps in. The TteS ultimate, though, pulling him right back. And Emperor will end up falling. Yes, he's going to end up falling right there. Another genocide for TTE Sports. And honestly, after that, if I'm Vitriolic, I'm like, let's get our heads straight. I mean, let's just go into game number 2, because that just could not have gone any worse for them the way that was played out.
Yeah, that's game. There's nothing that they can do. The concede vote comes up, and then they are out. So it's funny because I really, really liked their lineup. I really preferred their lineup to TTE Sports. Like any day of the week, I would have taken that lineup over TTE Sports. It's just something as simple as a lane swap or a difference in the lane opinions. Pebbles, I guarantee if Pebbles and 4 was bottom against that Bubbles, and then they switched it up and had Emperor mid with Shadowblade, they would have won that game because Pebbles would have got complete free fire, Bubbles would have been completely shut down. I mean, Plague Rider was doing great up top. He got ganked quite a few times, but that doesn't matter. What matters is Pebbles would have gotten free farm, and at the same time, Bubbles would have gotten nothing.
It would have made that game, at the very least, a lot more interesting, you can safely say. I mean, you're right. There was just so many reasons why that would have worked out so much better, but in the end, they went with the middle, and you know they were okay in the middle lane. And Shadowblade, he wasn't even taking off by any means either. It's not like Shadowblade was getting free farm at the bottom lane, so all of a sudden he's taking over. I mean, that really wasn't happening either. So it was just really unfortunate there for Vitriolic as far as some of that decision-making goes, because you're right. I mean, their lineup looked fantastic. They got a very comfortable lineup, obviously, very comfort heroes. They got the Nymphora Pebbles combination. They got their Shadowblade Empath combination, and they had an excellent Suicide solo 1 versus 1 Plague Rot at the top lane. I mean, really, it seems like it should have worked out pretty well there for VtrL, but you got to give credit to TteS Esports at the same time. I mean, they played that fantastic, other than a couple maybe missed arrows there early on from WTF. Overall, he and the team as a whole played very, very well. VtrL landed some great Tempest ultimates. Slicks, of course, did his thing. You got Leon Black, excellent support, and Riser played actually fairly good bubbles there at the bottom lane, as we talked about. So,
yeah,
congratulations to TteS Esports. VtrL, you know, they gotta definitely get their heads straight going to game number 2. It's going to be interesting to see how they respond here going into that second game. With that said, we're going to be taking a quick break here, guys. Once again on Breaking CBK, joining me is Medor. Stay tuned. Game number 2 between TteS Esports and VtrL just around the corner. We'll be right back.